Dragonball Daima, episode 4. And I gotta say, even though the episode is called Chatty, this episode makes me feel anything but. And to be honest, this is probably a filler episode you probably could skip. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, Brent here, back with variants. Cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, Dragon Ball Daima episode 4. And I gotta say, it was pretty much just a straight up filler episode for all intents and purposes. Not too much happened in the story, but let's discuss the things that actually did transpire that have some large world ramifications, at least pertaining to Dragon Ball Daima. In this episode, we picked up right where we left off, where both Glorio, Supreme Kai, and Goku were just kind of left stranded. Their spaceship, well, Glorio's spaceship, I should say, was completely stolen from them and jacked from them because Goku, being Goku in all respects that he always is, continues to be the most disrespectful character that anime has ever witnessed. After both eating his food, kicking their butts, and wiping the floor with them for all intents and purposes, both literally and metaphorically, they decide to have their ships get stolen. So Goku, Glorio, and Supreme Kai need to make a different business decision. They need to go see the third king, the third Demon King. I should be specific on that regard. That they need to go visit him and go get to him within the next day or so. Ultimately, they decide we're going to start walking in that general direction, try and come up with a game plan at that moment in time. At that moment in time, they decide to continue walking. They end up going over the Sea of Darkness, which we continue to keep alluding to as this big thing. Don't get lost in it. Don't get end up in it. You could end up missing. So I think overall, at some point, it's going to come more into the story than it was initially before. So I'm waiting to see that kind of payoff because out of this Sea of Darkness, in this episode at least, there emerged a giant winged snake. Because for all intents and purposes, no hands, tail, and wings, you're going to be called a winged snake for just general purposes. Decides to attack Goku. Goku, being someone who can sense ki and energy, was able to go ahead and pick it up and track it and decide to make the necessary dodges, only for Glorio then to step directly in and continue to be a rather shining character of this series. He's dark, he's mysterious, he's brooding, he seems to be quite powerful and quite adept at what he's able to do, but he does love his low profile. But during this moment in time, he decides to shine, give it a spinning heel kick, knock that thing clean out, and they decide to continue moving on as if nothing even happened. Goku then, of course, admonishes Gloria, saying, "Man, you're so strong, you're so powerful, you're probably stronger than Supreme Kai," which Supreme Kai, of course, takes offense to. He's like, I know how to fight, I know how to do some things, which, hey, man, if you don't have to fight, it's best just not letting people know. Be the strong, silent type. Keep them guessing. Make them think you know a thing. It could work for you. No one wants to mess with the strong, silent type. It's those that yell about how great they are at fighting, probably go to sleep pretty dang quickly. So don't worry about it too much. Let Gloria and Goku do the job, and you just continue to hang back because, as we've learned with Super, if you die, Beerus dies. Whis dies. Well, Whis doesn't die. Whis just goes somewhere else. So stay alive. Stay focused on what you got going on. You'll be totally good in that regard. And with them continue moving on, they eventually run into this little tea shop. And as Glorio's just kind of like figuring out Goku's like, how in the world did you know to dodge? That even startled me because they're attacked by a troll on the road. And he's like, hey, I never saw him. How did you, of all people, figure this out? Because by now, Glorio is tracking that Goku is basically half a brain cell rolling around inside his skull that only knows how to eat and fight, and that's about it. Fathering and being a good husband are not on that list. Albeit Goku, is slowly starting to beat those allegations over time, but I digress. The fact he just ran off with complete strangers to go save the universe again at a drop of a hat again, leaving everyone behind, not really helping. But Glorio asks Goku, hey, how in the world did you sense that? We got jumped. What's going on? Goku is straight like, I can sense ki, I can sense energy, I can kind of get the thing of feeling what's going on. Of course, Glorio was kind of suspicious of this, doesn't really trust it. But at the same time, he's like, well, it worked. Either way, everyone's fine. You're able to protect us when we needed to. Let's keep on going. So at the tea shop, they start trying to figure out new forms of travel. Ultimately, as the shop owner seems to be kind of this third demon realm does not seem to be a first world country. This seems to be like a third world demon realm. It's very broke. People are very poor. Ultimately, like the only thing that they have for them to kind of go ahead and make this moves on. And I wrote this down for all intents and purposes. is that they have a new ride that they're able to hitch and kind of just it's basically a rocket for all intents and purposes. It just shoots you off in the general direction that you want it to go. Ultimately, he's able to haggle down the price because it was originally 8,500, be able to hack it down to 5,000 yen. And they decided to buy some bugs on the way because during their discussion, they've kind of figured out some of these bugs have healing properties, whether it be stamina, whether it to be a revive, whether it's to be a healing from some poisons, or even to cause fusion. So pay attention to these bugs. I'm sure this is something that they dropped now that will continue to be important later, or Goku will just continue to misplace it and eventually pass it off to, say, either Krillin or Piccolo or Vegeta. Be like, look, hey, hold on to this because otherwise I'm probably going to go ahead and lose it because Goku. When in doubt, Goku's going to dumb it down. Ultimately, they're able to hitch their ride and kind of get to where they're needing to go. They end up in this small little town just past, well, just short of where they eventually want to go. They see that in this town that there are the Gendarmerie, and the Gendarmerie are, for all intents and purposes, the Supreme Demon King's police force. So basically, the best of the best for the police force, which still isn't necessarily saying all that much. But at the same time, they have some level of power, and they still have some modicum over the people because most of the people they're just average. They're not fighters. They're not out here, saving the world or going to world martial arts tournaments. They're just kind of people just trying to make a living. And ultimately, things have been disseminated that King Goma has raised taxes on the people. So instead of being taxed once a year, now they're going to be taxed 3 times a year. Not only is the tax going to go up in terms of how often it happens, it's going to go up in terms of pricing. Initially, it was 1 gold coin to last you the whole year, and that would cover everything. Now you need 3 gold coins, and you need it 3 times per year for a grand total of you need to pay 9 gold coins by the end of the year, or you are in serious trouble. And the way the gold coins work, if you're unable to pay, for every 1 gold coin you're short, 3 years of your life will be sapped directly out of you. Because it turns out they have a machine for that. Because why wouldn't they? That is like the most heinous machine known to man. You literally just, you could be cert whatever age you are now, hit that machine 5 or 6 times, and boom, that's it. You 15 years of your life right there, or 18 years of your life right there, sucked up by a machine beyond your power or will to control. That's terrifying. It's a great initial concept to show just how heinous King Goma is and how things are really done in the demon realm, but it's still pretty dark considering the usual happy-go-lucky features that most things happen throughout the Dragon Ball Z universe. But these Gendarmerie are going over and above beyond and eventually upset Goku. As Goku's about to do something, a girl steps forward and decides to go ahead and try and use one of our homemade weapons to kind of disseminate the crowd and kind of get out of there using a like a wasabi weapon is what I remember it being called. And ultimately everyone saw that it was a dud, decided to go after her. They start like going in capture, about to have her. She starts tasering people. Goku steps up, starts kicking some serious butt, and eventually they all manage to escape. Chatty then tracks Goku down and is like, hey, who are you? What are you doing here? Unveils the costume. And she's the character that's been portrayed in all of these openings, whose name we haven't seen, which I'm assuming, based upon the name of the episode, is Chatty. So it's going to be interesting to see what her role is. She seems to be someone who genuinely wants to do good for the people. But in what ways or in what forms, I'm very interested in seeing, or if she has some ulterior motive working for somebody else and just kind of doesn't like King Goma being in charge, or just the way the Gendarmerie handle their role. Overall, not too much happened. We were introduced to Kathy. Glorio figured out some stuff about Goku, and he got some bugs. That's about it. I've been Brett for Geek Variants. Be sure to hit the lovely red subscribe button if you made it all the way to the 9-minute portion of this video. Clearly, there's something here that you like. You'll see me tomorrow for Baldur's Gate 3 live stream, and Sunday for a live stream of The Penguin. Remember, Brett for Geek Variants. I'll see you in the next one.